And joining us now from the nation's capital, Carmen Charette, Executive Vice President of the Social Science and Humanities Research Council. That's a federal agency responsible for the Canada Research Chair Program. Bonsoir, madame. Comment allez-vous ce soir?
Très bien, merci. Bonsoir.
Excellent. Good to have you with us. Let's do some background on this first, because not everybody will know what we're talking about. The Canada Research Chair Program is what?
The Canada Research Chairs Program is a program that was designed to attract and retain the most accomplished, most promising researchers to the universities here in Canada. It was created in year 2000. With the goal to establish 2,000 chairs at universities across the country.
And why the need to create this?
It's in recognition of the need to ensure Canada's competitive advantage and to improve the quality of life of Canadians and people around the world. As you may know, it's well accepted now that science, technology, research, innovation are key to ensuring our prosperity and to address many of the challenges that we face as a society, be it environmental, cultural, economic, our health issues. So through investment in research, we build that understanding, that knowledge that allow us to address some of these challenges. And those are can only be addressed by people at the end of the day.
And those people, Carmen, are they all Canadians, the people who are on the receiving end of those research chairs?
As I mentioned, the program was meant to, and is still meaning to, attract and retain the very best. So we now have close to 2,000 chairs. About a third of them actually are people that came from outside Canada. Either Canadians that had moved away from Canada, such as David Keith at the University of Toronto, for example, who spent many years at Harvard and Carnegie Mellon, and he works at the interface of energy, technology, climate science, and public policy. And through this program, he was attracted back to Canada. About half of the 600 people are actually people that were originally from Canada and came back. Half of them are from the... It's really put Canada on the map. It's been a magnet for talent. People are recognizing that through this program, Canada can be a destination of choice for excellence in research. So it's been a success in many respects.
And just, I guess, to give credit where it's due, this was I guess, a brainchild of Prime Minister Chrétien. I know you're a neutral, nonpartisan, unbiased person, but credit where it's due, this was Chrétien's baby, was it not?
That's right. It was created in year 2000, 2,000 chairs. The program is an ongoing program, and we will be celebrating its 10th year next year. It is still very strong and alive, and we will be looking at the accomplishments of that program over the 10 years that it's been in existence.
If you are awarded a research chair, how much money do you get?
You have two levels of chair. You have what we call Tier 1 and Tier 2. The funding that you receive in the senior chair, I'll call them that way, is of the order of $200,000 per year. That funding can be used for salary of the chair, research. There's also equipment that can be obtained, because obviously state-of-the-art infrastructure is essential to allow you to do leading-edge research these days. The funding can also be used to support students, because one important goal of the program is to provide that rich training environment for students that will become the next generation of researchers, or even many of them will pursue careers in other sectors, such in the business sector or government or not-for-profit sector. And they will be the decision makers of tomorrow, the public policy makers. They will run businesses. So they basically, through their research training, will continue on the path of research or pursue other careers for the benefit of Canadian society as a whole.
Okay. One of the things obviously we're trying to figure out is whether or not this program is working. You say it's been successful. By what measurement do you conclude that it's been successful?
Well, the fact that we've been able to attract close to the 2,000 that we had wanted to attract, the success in attracting researchers from all over the world, we can also look at the success from the point of view of how the decision is made. When we select these Canada Research Chairs, they go through a very rigorous review process, and they are evaluated by top researchers from around the world. So we will only award them if they meet that level of quality. Another evidence of this is the fact that this program has inspired other countries to create similar programs. Actually, a new program of smaller in scale, but with the same features has been introduced last week in France. You also have similar programs in Australia, South Africa, Portugal, amongst other places. So the fact that the program is being emulated across the world to us is a sign of success. And of course, you have the actual results of the work that is being produced by the researchers and their teams and students. I look at, for example, Cheryl O'Grady at the University of Toronto, who studies the process of aging, in particular looks at memory and how we can improve the functioning of memory as people grow older. If you read the paper this morning, another sign of success is often in the press, Canada Research Chairs are called upon for their expertise. If you read the paper this morning, there was a story about a Quebec lab, Stéphane Bouchard, who is recognized as a leader internationally in what's called cyber psychology, where they use virtual reality to treat mental illness, phobias, addictions, schizophrenia. You've got Andrew Weaver, who of course was winner of the Nobel Prize in 2007 with Al Gore, looking at the whole area of climate change. He's also contributed greatly to curriculum material for schools across the country.
In fact,
so
Andrew Weaver's going to be on right after you. As soon as I'm done with you, Andrew Weaver's going to be right on. Yes, we knew what a superstar he was. But tell me this: are we finally
recognized?
Are we? I mean, that's one of the key questions here. Obviously, Mr. Chrétien, when he brought this in almost 10 years ago, saw us. He saw the numbers. We were falling well behind much of the rest of the world when it came to this kind of thing. Have we yet caught up?
Definitely, by many measures. If you look at the fact that we are the leading G7 country in terms of investments in public research and development. If you look at indicators such as what they call citation index, where you look at how our researchers perform in terms of how their publications are used and read. If you look at new products on the market, different measures at the number of prizes that our researchers are now winning internationally, I think we are seeing the results of those investments. We continue to invest. New programs are being introduced that will even brand Canada further. One program being the Canada Excellence Research Chair, where we will be providing $10 million over 7 years to up to 20 researchers that are of truly la crème de la crème in terms of international caliber. Vanier scholarships, which are again trying to provide funding and support to the very best Canadian and international students. So the Canada Research Chair is one of many initiatives by the federal government to maintain that leading edge and to be competitive.
Okay,
but it is an ongoing adventure in the sense that all countries recognize the importance of investing in science, technology, research, and innovation. So we're all competing for the best people, because at the end of the day, it is the talent, the capabilities of those individuals that will really make a difference. They're the ones who do the work.
Carmen, let me jump in. We got 5 minutes left here, and I got a few things I still need to cover. And I do want to give you a chance to speak to some of the criticisms that have been made of the situation. And one of them is that I gather part of the idea behind this was to make sure that quote unquote, we spread the wealth, that not all of the money went to the biggest post-secondary institutions in the country in the biggest cities, that there was a sense of spreading the wealth around. Some people have said that's really not happening. Could you speak to that?
Well, the criteria, of course, is excellence, and what we've found over the years is that you find excellence across the country. The close to 2,000 chairs that we have right now are in 70 universities across the country from coast to coast. So there are truly exceptional researchers in many of our institutions across the country, and that's because with this program, universities were asked to establish strategic priorities where they saw their strength in research. And they've been very strategic in making choices to attract some of the very best researchers.
Okay, what about the notion that it's the sciences, the engineerings, these kinds of areas of study, as opposed to social sciences and humanities that, again, get the lion's share of the money?
Again, the way the program was designed was based on looking at the share of research funding in the various fields. So you have about 45% of the funding that goes to natural sciences and engineering, 35% to the health area, and 20% to social sciences and humanities. So you do have a good coverage of all disciplines, especially at a time where a lot of the disciplines are really crossing one another, and more of the work is done in a multidisciplinary fashion, as some of the examples I mentioned earlier. So we are really investing in all areas of research. I
guess one of the things I saw that was really quite, well, my eyebrows went up was, I guess in the first few years of the program for the research chairs, I think about 85% of the chairs went to men. Now, I know that's been a constant criticism and that you've all worked on that, and it's down to maybe 75% now. But that's a long way from 50-50. Why is there still such a big disparity between the genders?
You're absolutely right. In 2001, we started to see some trends by which the percentage, the ratio women and men was not what one would have expected. Since then, it's risen from 14% to 25%. We've worked very closely with the institution. At about 25%, you're looking at a reasonable proportion given the pool on which you draw those excellent candidates. We keep working with the institution. We've set some benchmarks. Some institutions are setting some targets, not only for women, but also for visible minority groups, Aboriginal people, and for people with disabilities. So it is something that we monitor constantly. We work closely with the institution. We're all committed to having good representation, keeping in mind the criterion of excellence. And as I mentioned earlier, we're coming up to the 10th anniversary. We will be looking at the program, at its performance, evaluating it, and making any course adjustment that need to be made to ensure that it is the best program possible.
Okay, one last thing, Carmen, and that is this. Obviously, the best and the brightest can go anywhere in the world, and we're going to have a discussion immediately after I'm done with you about how the United States is trying real hard with big-time dollars to get some of their people to come home. They're having a bit of a brain drain here. How do we, at the end of the day, convince our people to stay here, other people who aren't Canadians to come and set up shop in Canada? What's that final arrow in the quiver that you have to get that done?
I think many factors come into play. Canada has a lot to offer from the point of view of the funding, so it is a challenge, and I think we all of the partners, it is a complex system, not only the federal government, but provinces, the private sector, philanthropists, not-for-profit sector, all of, and the institutions themselves. We have to work together to create that environment that will be attractive, that will be that magnet for the talent that we're looking for. I think we're all committed to continue to invest, to monitor on a regular basis, and to adjust as we go to maintain the edge that we need to maintain. We know how important it is for the future of the country. That's why we have a strategy to continue and maintain that first position of G7 country in terms of public investments in research and development. Understood.
Carmen Charette, it's good of you to join us on TVO tonight. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Good night.
Good night.